Earlier this hour, we talked with House Speaker Mike Johnson about the government shutdown. Joining us right now from the other side of the aisle and the other side of the Capitol, Arizona Democratic Senator Mark Kelly. Good morning to you. We just spoke with the House Speaker. He thinks you need to come to the table. That's basically the message. I imagine you think he needs to come to the table.
We've been asking for a negotiation with Mike and Republicans for weeks now. We've been talking about it for months since they passed the president's priority legislation that gave the big tax cut to the wealthiest Americans. So we're here. I've been here for weeks since the shutdown started. He gave the House of Representatives a lot of time off. They haven't been in session for weeks. That has impacts. He needs to sit down with us and discuss this to come up with a real solution that works for people. Mike Johnson said he could predict what I was going to say, and he's right. I want to talk about the people that this impacts. He didn't mention that. You know, he talked about some Washington BS that nobody really understands.
So in terms of, I mean, look, this has become a massive game of finger pointing, and there's a game of chicken going on here, basically. Who's going to come to the table first? What can be on offer? This judge, obviously, in San Francisco has said that the Trump administration can't, fire people en masse. Does that make you think that you are now in a better position than you were 24 hours ago?
I don't think this is about who is in a better or worse position. This is about people, many of them my constituents, but they're all over the country. People like a woman I talked to last week, Emily, whose husband's a pastor. She doesn't get health care through his work. She's got 3 kids. She says the Affordable Care Act, including these subsidies, is what makes her finances work. She's had a complicated pregnancy in the past. Without this, they go bankrupt. I talked to another woman who's 63 years old who had a head injury with a $10,000 bill, but because of the ACA, it was $1,000. If her premiums spike, which is what it's expected, she's not going to be able to afford health insurance anymore. And then she's one accident or illness away from bankruptcy. You guys know how this works. I mean, on your show, you know how financial stuff works for families. Mike didn't. Go ahead, Rebecca.
Thanks, Senator. Just on MSNBC this morning, Senator John Thune was on, and he offered a deal for the Democrats. He said that if they reopen the government, there will be a process and a vote on the ACA tax credits. Is that a deal you'd take?
Well, we're looking for a negotiation with Republicans, which is impossible to do this when House members aren't even here. I can talk to Republican senators about this, and we've had some good conversations. They know that this is hurting their constituents. In some states, Alaska as an example, premiums going from $600 to $4,000 a month. That's unaffordable for most people. One of Mike Johnson's Republican colleagues, Marjorie Taylor Greene, has been very vocal about this. She says her Republican leadership has no plan for how to deal with people's premiums. They're going to double. And Mike doesn't want to talk about this. All he brings up is some Washington process on this issue.
But you know that we're not going to fix all the things that need to be reformed about Obamacare before the government reopens. And you talk in a very principled way about so many things so often, Senator. And in the past, Democrats and government shutdowns, whenever there's been even a possibility of it, they would stand tall that that's not the way to do things, always. And both sides, I know how much health care means to you, and I'm not questioning what you're saying and your sincerity there. But the next time Republicans have something and feel the opposite side of the aisle, feel just as strongly about something, if they take the tack of closing down the government, not reopening the government, to try to force their opponents to do what they want, it's a terrible precedent. And I think you know that. And I can't believe Fetterman's the only one that acknowledges that a shutdown has been something you have taken off the table again and again and again. And now suddenly the ends justify the means for what you're looking at. And only one person in the Democratic Party has broken with the ranks. It's like, I don't understand it. It hasn't been working well for Democrats with Mamdani.
This is pretty simple. the government does not have to be shut down. It doesn't have to be shut down. We can
Senator,
fix this
now
here
you're just parsing,
in a matter of just a couple days. I mean, this could be easily solved
to
by
go
sitting
past
down
cloture,
at the
to
table.
Get past 60. To get past 60, you need some Democrats to reopen the. That's what's going to have to happen, Senator. You close the government down because you want $1.5 trillion for all these different things that Schumer wants. It's obvious to everyone. Although maybe you can convince the public that it's the Republicans, but it's not.
Joe, we are trying to prevent 2 million people from losing their health care coverage. And Joe, I think you know this. When people lose their health care coverage, some of those people die. Other people go bankrupt. We're trying to prevent this from happening. I've seen estimates that you're talking about tens of thousands of people a year that could have that kind of outcome if this isn't fixed. And we very simply can get this fixed and open the government. And here's the thing, the president has talked about how he wants this fixed. He wants these subsidies to be dealt with. So he agrees we should open the government and we should fix the subsidy issue under the Affordable Care Act, and that's all we want. So I don't see what the problem is.
Right.
And
so
if the president
says
was to get engaged on this...
I saw you say that yesterday, sir, on I think Fox, that you said if the president comes out and says, I will make that happen, you would trust him and go along with that. Is that how this ends? Is that how we reopen?
Well, I think we need the president to make that happen. He needs to engage with Mike Johnson and John Thune. They seem to follow his lead on everything. That's the way this ends.